Joining us now with stories trending around the world is Oji Ope, who is preparing for a major event in December. I don't have authority.
Oh yeah, my sister is getting married. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's going to be Wambe this day.
Yes.
Ashwebi is ready. By the grace of God. Yes, you told me about Ashwebi.
Imagine me telling you
I
about
don't know. You know, I'm the mother of the day. So, you know, my mom passed. So I'm taking care of my little sister December 20th. Show
Very serious implications.
Yes.
In fact, you can start the implications
you can never
from
keep
November. We start in November.
Yes.
December 20?
Yes.
That's the date. 1 month.
Thank you very much, Dr. Good morning, Ayo.
1 month
is enough now.
Happy 1 month in advance.
Of what?
Your sister's wedding.
We play too much. We have serious issues to discuss here. Good morning, Vimba. It's good to see you on the
Phoenix,
show.
my girl. It's good to see you.
Fantastic. All right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending by highlighting the full list of the 24 schoolgirls abducted by terrorists from the Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, in Kebbi State. On Wednesday, the chairman of Danko Wasagu, local government area of the state, made the list available to the public. The list, organized by class categories, includes students from junior and senior secondary schools, and I'll read them out. The 10 students from the senior secondary school 3 include Salima Garba Umar Senchi, Salima Sani Zirmi, Amina G. Umar, Rashida Mohammed Dungu, Saliha Umar, Aisha Usman, Jamila Ilyaisu, Miriam Ilyaisu, Najatu Abdullahi, Zainab Kolo. And then we have 5 students from senior secondary school 2. They include Fatima Sani Sirimi, Hafsat Ibrahim Nana Fidausu Jibrin. We have Mudasi Yakubu Tomo and Hawau Sali. Then we also have 9 students from junior secondary school. They include Suraya Turka, Hafsat Umar Yalmo, Mary Usman, Amina Ilyaisu, Ikim Lima Sulaiman, Khadija Nazifi, Hawayu Ilyaisu, Hawaii Lawali, and Umal Qasim Abdul Karim. I mean, these girls are still in captivity 78 hours after they were abducted. Reminds us of our Chibok girls when the incident occurred, and we thought that, you know, within a few hours, our girls would be released. Your comment?
I mean, this is devastating, Oji. When you go through this list and you look at the vulnerable ages, you look at those who are related. I mean, there's families that have multiple daughters that have gone missing. No word yet, no trace yet. Of course, we've seen a positive response from the president, who has cancelled international engagements to give this particular incident the full attention it requires, of course, along with the church attack that has happened in Kwara State. And we continue to pray for their safety and demand their speedy return. However, there's so many things that fall out from this issue. Number one, in the morning I spoke about, is this an incident of terror or is it criminality? And the reason why I make this point is because if it's criminality, you send police, which is what we've seen. But terrorism requires a heavier force. So the question is, what are we dealing with here? And why are there lapses in people acting on intelligence? Why are we seeing what seems to be an enemy from within? Now, we are in a, shall I say, a fortunate position that the man who dealt with the Chibok girls crisis directly, who was governor of Borno State in that time, that's Kashim Shettima, is currently the vice president. Have lessons been learned? The vice president has been sent to the theater. Is he bringing any experience? What contribution is he going to make so that this story ends in a different way from what we saw transpire with the Chibok girls? That's number one. Then number two, what are we really doing with regards to our security infrastructure? Because now there's allegations saying that, oh, you know, because the United States have raised this issue, that's why there's opportunistic attacks and so forth, which is just a deplorable response. I think in many ways, it's almost just an abdication of responsibility. You can't say, because normally they say that the safest time to go to a place is immediately after a terror event happened. For example, after 9/11, after the incident happened, they say that the place was cordoned off and had become so, the security was so heightened that it became one of the safest places. So in essence, when you have these security alerts, there's supposed to be a heightened influx of security services. What is happening with that? We saw on the front pages today that there's been a huge recruit coming in, a call for recruit coming into the army, and that's a positive development. However, in the immediate, what is being done? Of course, we also saw some reports from the Nigerian Air Force who were saying that there was a devastating strike in Sambisa. So the fight is happening. However, we're clearly dealing with a complex group of people, which is why I continue to say, is it crime? Is it terror? What collaborative effort from the forces are we doing? We cannot continue to hear reports of intelligence failure. The DSS is doing their job. They're providing the intelligence. Who is acting on it? Who is acting on it?
Right.
And I think these are the questions in all of this. So it's important that the president is on the ground. But beyond him being in Nigeria, we need to see a more confident stance from this administration, not reference to the president as somebody who says he's depressed or deeply troubled. This is not a time for depression and deep trouble. This is the time for the president to tell us that he is making a concerted effort, that he is resilient, and that he will deal with this issue boldly. Action language, positive language, not language that inspires vulnerability and defeat. So to the president's team who compose his messages and so forth, very important. The language we use right now should resemble Winston Churchill, should resemble Nelson Mandela, should resemble those leaders who use the opportunity to inspire their people and galvanize support.
All right.
In a time like this.
Well said. Well, meanwhile, thank you. Meanwhile, Amina Hassan, the wife of the vice principal, killed during Monday's attack at the secondary school in Kebbi, while recounting the harrowing night her husband was murdered, said she and her husband were asleep when strange noises woke her around 3:30 in the morning. Thinking it was animals, she tried to wake her husband, Hassan Yakubu Makuku. But moments later, their door was forcibly opened, and as they struggled to get in, one of the terrorists pulled out his gun and shot her husband. She said the terrorists then dragged her outside and attempted to abduct her daughter, who led them to the school hostel where they eventually took the 24 girls. Her daughter narrowly escaped by asking to relieve herself and then fled into the bush. Dr. Bati, you wanted to say something. I wanted to highlight this woman who tragically lost her husband during this tragic attack in Kebbi State, and her harrowing experience, how she watched her husband die right in front of her eyes. Your thoughts?
Well, no family whatsoever in this country, whether national or foreign, or anyone living within this territory called Nigeria, should be subjected to such harrowing experience because of government's traditional responsibility to protect lives and property. Mrs. Akuku, the wife of Mr. Azan Akuku, vice president of the comprehensive girls' secondary school in Maga, local government area of Kebbi State, sleeping in their homes, got woken up at about 3 a.m. only to discover that these were terrorists. The daughter managed to escape, but not the husband, who was shot on sight. That is unfortunate. Every citizen has a right to life. Everyone has a right to the dignity of the human person, and they have the right for their property not to be violated. In the manner in which that incident occurred, I think it is most unfortunate. And all the rhetoric about government's commitment to protect lives and property is simply after the fact. There are persons who have disappeared from this country, including civil servants, a group of civil service officials who were going to a particular destination who never got there. They have not been found. So I think this reinforces the fact that we have a security crisis in this country reinforces the fact that government needs to do a lot more.
Yes.
And in that regard, I say again that the statement by President Trump is a wake-up call.
Yes.
And that government needs to do more.
Absolutely.
However, as for the girls' list that you have put up, the abducted students,
yes, we've seen
if you look at that
Next
list, Honorable Riley Moore of the House of Reps, whom Vimbai said earlier is just a tyro. He may have political pedigree, but he doesn't know, he has no experience. That notwithstanding, he said, without even having basic intelligence, he concluded that most of the students were Christians. I went through that list. It is only Miriam.
Miriam, probably.
Mary,
names, yeah.
JSS 3A.
Right. Can we have the list, please?
I saw only one Christian name on that list from JSS 3A. And yet, he went into the narrative that, all these girls that have been abducted are Christians. That's why this thing is not black and white. The people who are saying, America knows what is going on, America has spoken, and because of that, they are unpatriotic, they put down their own country, they demarcate their country, they do not have the capacity to talk about the complexity, the nuances of the issue. And that's why I think that this requires more intelligence than we have seen at work. Finally, my final point is that President Tinubu himself admitted that there was proud intelligence that this attack will happen. And then it happened. 25 students were kidnapped. This is part of the failure of the Nigerian state.
All right.
You get intelligence. Is the intelligence actionable?
All right.
To commonsensical people, yeah, if you have that proud intelligence, could you have prevented it? But they did not. And then the girls got abducted, and now after the fact, we're saying America wants to come and save Nigeria and all of that. No, it's not America that will save Nigeria. It's Nigeria that must find the political will among its leaders. And this is the point that a group called VIEW, Northern Women, they call themselves VIEW. I'm just summarizing their title. Kadari Ahmed, Asma'u Joda, who else is there? Aisha Oyebode, who else is there? All these ladies, they have now issued a statement saying, where are our leaders? Miriam Uwais is also on that list. So the mothers of the North, they are speaking up and now saying that this is about leadership.
Right. Fantastic.
And I think that their statement should be amplified.
Very well said, Dr. Abati. And I like that point that you just made about speaking up. And, talking about people that have been speaking up regarding this insecurity, we have Afrobeat superstar Davido, who expressed sympathy for the families of the 24 schoolgirls kidnapped in Kebbi State, calling on Nigerians to stand together in unity. In a statement that has generated over 1 million views online, the award-winning artist wrote, "My heart goes out to the young girls kidnapped in Kebbi State and to their families. No family deserves this pain. As Nigerians, we must stand together in unity and continue working towards a country where every child can grow up in safety and hope." Davido also expressed sadness over the tragic church attack in Kwara State, praying for families who lost loved ones. I mean, Davido is, the first major celebrity to advocate for the Kebbi schoolgirls online. He called on anyone with credible information to assist in bringing back our girls. Meanwhile, activist Martins Osher, popularly known as Very Dark Man, staged a protest in Abuja demanding immediate government action to rescue the 24 Kebbi schoolgirls and address the escalating wave of killings across Nigeria. In a passionate address during the demonstration, Very Dark Man directly challenged President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, questioning the federal government's inaction amid rising insecurity. He pointed to recent attacks, including a disturbing video from Kwara State showing terrorists armed with assault rifles storming a church.
President Bola Tinubu, are you still alive? If you are still alive, look at it. Bring back our girls. In 2014, you did everything. You talk against the government. You talk against Goodluck Ebele Jonathan regime. And then when you decided to become the president, we were happy, because we thought you knew what you were doing. But apparently you don't know what you are doing. All we ask now is for you to bring back those girls and stop the killing. Also, if you go further, you see, stop the killing and stop the kidnapping. It's too much.
Well, Vice President Kashim Shettima on Wednesday visited Kebbi State on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and assured the families of the 24 abducted schoolgirls that Tinubu is deeply troubled by the tragedy and will deploy all instruments of state to rescue the schoolgirls and bring their abductors to justice. The Vice President described the abduction as an assault on the collective conscience of all Nigerians.
Mr. President is deeply troubled by this tragedy. He shares your anguish. And he has sent me to assure you that this is not a moment for politics. This grief transcends party lines, geography, and identity. This is a time for unity, for compassion, and for firm resolve in the face of evil. This government will not relent. We'll use every instrument of the state to bring these girls home and to ensure that the perpetrators of this wickedness get the full weight of justice. Kebbi, you are not alone. Nigeria stands with you. And we shall not rest until your daughters, our own daughters, return to your warm embrace.
The Vice President also promised federal government support for families of the late Brigadier General Musa Uba, who was killed by ISWAP insurgents, and the slain vice principal who was shot during the schoolgirls' abduction. While Governor Nasiru Idris thanked President Tinubu for the show of concern and expressed optimism that the girls will be rescued soon. I mean, it's good to be optimistic, but what we're asking at this moment is bring back our girls.
Yes.
78 hours later, I am a parent. I cannot imagine what those parents are feeling at this point.
Absolutely. All right, so let me start with the Vice President. The Vice President wore the right clothes. He was in black, decked in black to show the state of mourning. He said the right things. He acknowledged the fact that the President was distressed and felt very bad about what was going on with regards to the insecurity and the kidnapping of the girls, acknowledged the effort and honored the memory of Brigadier General Uba, who was killed, unfortunately, by the terrorists. And he said that they were going to deploy all efforts to ensure that the girls were back. So he wore the right clothes, said the right things, but to be honest, OG, Nigerians are tired of hearing the right things and listening to another condolence message by the people who have the responsibility and office to actually fix the problem. And so it's a good thing that he's gone to, and we've called for this, that it's good for leaders to show empathy and in this instance visit the sites or the theater where these things are happening or are taking place. But even beyond that, I think we've gotten to a point where we don't want those things. In addition to those things, we want to actually see action, because we believe that this government has the capacity, if willing, to deal with this problem. It's not an intelligence problem that we have, as the President said. It's the fact that when intelligence is given, there are eggs within, there are saboteurs within the security apparatus that actually sabotage the efforts of the military. And so I raised the question earlier today, and I'd like to reiterate that I recall that in 2014, when the President at the time, Goodluck Jonathan, had issues around insecurity with the kidnapping of the Dapchi girls, Leah Sharibu, and a number of insecurity issues. The President was very consistent, vibrant, and direct in his opposition, saying that if he cannot fix the problem, then the onus was on him to resign. I am hoping that the President will take on his own advocacy at this point, that if this administration is not able to secure the lives and property of Nigerians, particularly the lives of our young girls. People cannot go to school. We have people who are afraid to go and worship freely. Then perhaps he should take his own advice and resign at this point. And so the question I asked was that would he be willing to resign? Or election period is coming. If he gives Nigerians 2 years and is unable to fix the insecurity problem, would he say that he will recuse himself from putting himself up for election in 2023? 2027? Those are the questions I asked.
Yes.
And I think it's time we got to that point. We have played too softly with the issues of lives in Nigeria so that we become desensitized. Now, going on to Davido, I applaud him because on this table we've called on people who have a huge platform when we're all debating around whether Nicki Minaj should go or not. Should use their platform to speak up because they also sometimes benefit from, government patronage. But beyond that, it's even that we are all Nigerians at the end of the day and whatever it takes. Yesterday, Nigeria woke up. You know why, OJ? Because a lot of people saw the stark video of what's happening in that choir church. Beyond the care, because until we begin to see, and that's why I keep saying that people who have not experienced this are quick to say, oh, nothing is happening. Until we know the people who actually are directly affected by this, we'll continue to sit in our air-conditioned rooms or offices and say, oh, it's all good, it's just insecurity. Two truths can exist at once, insecurity and Christian genocide.
Well said, Ayo. Well said. Speaking about Christian genocide, it is a significant diplomatic development. United States Congressman Riley Moore has met with a high-level Nigerian government delegation led by the National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu in Washington, D.C. to discuss the ongoing persecution of Christians and terrorist threats in Nigeria. The meeting, which Congressman Moore described as frank, honest, and productive, allowed for discussions about counterterrorism, security assistance, protection of vulnerable communities, and ongoing violence across Nigeria. During the meeting, Congressman Moore clearly stated that the United States stands ready to coordinate and cooperate with Nigeria, emphasizing that President Trump will not tolerate continued violence against Christians or other forms of religious persecution. The high-powered Nigerian delegation included National Security Advisor, like I said, Nuhu Ribadu, Minister of State for Foreign Affairs, Bianca Ojukwu, the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, and the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi. Well, Congressman Moore made it crystal clear in his statement that the United States must see tangible steps to ensure that Christians are not subject to violence, persecution, displacement, and death. He emphasized that the Nigerian government has the chance to strengthen its relationship with the United States, warning that President Trump and Congress are united and serious in their resolve to end the violence against Christians and disrupt terrorist groups like Boko Haram, ISWAP, and Fulani militants operating in Nigeria's northeast and middle belt region. I think this is a welcoming development, Dr. Abati. I did hear you earlier saying that, the group should not have met with Riley Moore. But I think this is a good development, hearing that the cooperation from the United States and Nigeria may begin to start sooner than later. This is what I believe in at this point.
I agree with the view you
shared earlier.
Yes, as a freshman. Yes.
That Riley Moore,
but he's
an overrated title.
But he's pushing
in political matters, and he's too junior to be the person meeting with the Nigerian delegation.
All right. What
we see here, from the point of view of diplomacy, is that the Nigerian government is trying to do damage limitation. So they've sent a very high-powered delegation. We are sending our National Security Advisor, our Inspector General of Police, our Minister of State for Foreign Affairs to go and meet who? To meet some tyro called Riley Moore. Now, in diplomacy, I need to explain it.
Correct.
So that people don't think I'm being emotional.
Okay.
I know the subject fairly well.
Good.
When you send a delegation, they meet with their counterparts. The National Security Advisor of Nigeria should be meeting with his counterpart, maybe Jake Sullivan in the United States. The Minister of State should be meeting with her counterpart. The Inspector General of Police should be meeting with counterpart. The Inspector General of Police, the Attorney General, should be meeting with her counterpart. Then you send our key persons to go and meet some tyro.
All right, Dr.
in diplomacy,
perhaps.
In politics.
All right, perhaps this is the beginning of the meeting. Perhaps.
No.
And this is what I'm saying.
It's a very disrespectful reception that we got in the United States.
Okay, that I agree with you in terms of being a par with the your representatives. But we don't have the full picture yet. We've only heard about this meeting. We have the delegation there in America at this moment, and which I said I think it's the beginning of the conversation that is about to
go to
help
the-
preserve
let them
the
meet- let them
cooperation.
meet the
It
important
will help
people.
the cooperation.
Don't
Yeah, and I like
send
that
our
point that you
national
said.
security
Well, you know,
advisor
the
to
idea
talk to
about
some,
speaking out.
Marco Rubio.
some small persons.
Correct. The idea about speaking out, and you know, it is, you know, brought up that hashtag, right again, bring back our girls. And Mike Arnold posted on X, he wrote, 11 years after Chibok, 24 more girls stolen from school in Kebbi. Hashtag, bring back our girls 2025 demands immediate rescue ops, armed school security, and zero tolerance for ransoms. Who is with me? And this hashtag is beginning to trend on, you know, social media. And I think, you know, the Tinubu administration, for me, they need to really sit up and buckle up with this hashtag that is about to explode at this moment. Bring back our girls. We have our girls out there. This is what we really want. We want our girls returned. Meanwhile, Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia on Wednesday dismissed claims of a Christian genocide in his state, saying that there is no religious, ethnic, or racial genocide in Benue. Alia made these comments while speaking at a forum on the protection of the rights of internally displaced persons organized by the National Human Rights Commission in Abuja. Let's take a look.
I am a reverend father. So being in governance does not take that away from me. I am still a reverend father. I came in as a governor, as a reverend father. I am working with the fear of God and the compassion of Christianity and humanity. And at the end of the day, I'm still going back to the church as a reverend father and a good Christian. So that is for the record. We need to understand this. In my state of Benue, we don't have any religious, any ethnic, any racial, any national or state genocide. We don't have that. Do we have a number of insecurities in the state? Yes, we do. But it is not a genocide.
All right. Well, a few months ago in April of this year, actually, Governor Alia was heard saying that the federal government must step up in the fight against insurgency after 72 people were killed in the Holy Thursday and Good Friday attacks in Ukum and local government areas of the state, saying that the crimes are religiously targeted. Let's take a look.
This is a siege. Barely 1.5 months ago, we didn't have it easy to repel the terrorists in Kwande Axis. So if this is not a siege, what is it? The federal government must up this game in our support and in fighting this insurgency. It is targeted, it is planned, and religiously it is being executed. They are terrorists. They are terrorists, period. And we strongly believe that their endpoint, their aim, is to land grab.
All right. I mean, Ayo, I can see you looking down because it just appears that they're playing politics with our lives. In one breath, you say that there is no Christian genocide. In another breath, you say that these crimes are religiously targeted. I'll take a tweet. This person, Okocha CFC, wrote, Reverend Father, religion is a game of convenience for many people. It's even worse with politicians. I fear religious people. I fear pastors more. The worst is any pastor that is also a politician. And we're hearing these sort of conversation coming out from, you know, different quarters, whether there is, Christian genocide. The other day, it was the African Union that said there was no Christian genocide. But we also had a PDP governor from Benue State saying that, these attacks are, ethnic cleansing or even, religious cleansing. A quick comment.
Yeah, very quick. I ended my last statement saying that two truths can exist at once. Does Nigeria have an insecurity challenge? Absolutely. Terrorism, banditry, the SGF was able to dimension this in his statement. The other part is that are Christians being targeted, or are some of these attacks religiously motivated? Absolutely. You only need to speak to the people who are living there. And it's instructive to note that the cries of these people have been on for many years. It didn't just start in 2025 nor 2024. However, what amplified their voices is because America got into the fray, and then we all started to scramble and people started speaking up. I hope that, I don't know as a Reverend Father if the governor of Benue State belongs to the Christian Association of Nigeria, because Christian Association of Nigeria have come out to say that there is a Christian genocide. PFN, Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, have come out to say these are people who have members and who have churches reported and members that they have records. I said it earlier based on the SGF's position that until the Nigerian government can give us credible and verifiable numbers and data, then they cannot demonstrate to the Nigerian people that they have an understanding of what is happening, therefore cannot tag what is happening without understanding the issues. A lot of people who live, who work, who are members of the society and who have come out to say their own part with evidence. Reverend Achomo talked about the mass graves they've had to organize. Let the Nigerian government give us counter-verifiable facts saying that to negate the position of these people. Empirical. Until they are able to do that, they cannot. By all rights, there's no Christian genocide. I'm sorry to say. And I must mention that yesterday, like I said, the Christian community rose up and started posting because they saw what was happening. And I'm talking about the Christian community in the South. We had more pastors, more leaders coming out to say that, oh, let the government fix it. I hope that they will not sleep on this. One person said, perhaps this is the prayer of the salvation they have been asking for many years, that finally we can deal with the problem. It's not apportioning blame. At the end of it all is, can we fix the problem? Can we ensure that Christians, Muslims, or whatever religion they practice can freely enjoy the freedom of religion? That's what we're asking for.
All right. We have some, breaking news. We'll just take this one really quickly. We know that the leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, has accused Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court of bias, leading to commotion and verbal attacks. Kanu had notified the judge that it was his right to give written address, a move rejected by the judge. Well, let's take a look at the heated exchange in court a few minutes ago.
Where is it? Which law gave you the right to waive my family address? Which law gave you the right? If you talk nonsense, and you want to try this, and you want to place a try with me, and you want of your what this one? What I do here? Don't push me. I'm going. Don't talk. I'm warning you. Don't talk. I'm warning you, don't touch me. Don't touch me! Don't touch me! I said, don't touch me! Smart people. You don't know law. Show me where it says you can hold my right. Show me the law. Show me the law. Omotosho, show me the law. You don't know law. They are promoting you. You're writing rubbish. Show me the law. One address, you say you can bring their law for them. Any judgment, let it be on record. Any judgment given in this court is rubbish. Ask him where is the law. Ask Omotosho, where is the law? Where is the law?
Wow, so much commotion. I believe the judge has sent him out of court right now.
Yes, they're delivering the judgment as we speak. But I believe the bone of contention was the fact that he wanted to deliver a final address, and the judge waived his right to do so, and that's when he had the outburst and was sent out. So, I mean, I know Dr. Abati can speak more to sort of court procedure and whether he's entitled to a final address if he's not a lawyer. Well, he's representing himself.
I think he's representing himself.
You know, he had dismissed his own lawyers. He said, he would defend himself. And we had made the point on this table that does he have the expertise to be able to defend himself? Does he even understand the entire process apart from abusing the court? Now, what he was doing was he was questioning the authority of the court in a trial. How can an accused person tell the court that you are not in a position to arraign me or even charge me, you even lack jurisdiction? Those are emotional statements. And it will be on the basis of that the court expelled him. However, we have made the point that the court will still respect his right. Once he dismisses his lawyers, it will mean that he's adopting the position of the prosecution on whatever was before the court. After all, before his lawyers had made their submissions. Whatever happens today, he can still go on appeal.
All right.
He can still say, oh, I'm going on appeal and all of that.
All right.
After all, they are in the hierarchy of courts. The matter can go on all the way to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
So it's not over yet.
It's not over
whatever
yet.
Comes out.
And we will stay on the story. We'll follow up on the story. Dr. Batin, another development. The National Judicial Institute has reacted to viral reports claiming that judges sang the APC Song of Allegiance at the opening ceremony of the 2025 All Nigeria Judges Conference. The head of Information, Media and Public Relations at the NJI, in a statement, claimed that the national anthem was the only song rendered collectively by participants at the ceremony. The NJI explained that the brief rendition of On Your Mandate was played solely by the God's Brigade Band as part of their ceremonial protocol to usher the president to the podium, and that the judiciary had no control over the musical selections of the brigade, which operates under military ceremonial procedures. You weren't here, Bimbai, when we took the story. Well, the institute say, the judges rose to their feet out of respect to the office of the president as he walked to the podium, and not as a show of political allegiance. The NJI insists that the judiciary remains strictly non-partisan and committed to constitutional neutrality. They had to respond to this because, obviously we did take the story. I remember Dr. Bati saying, I hope it's not AI, and that if they sang the song, that it will not be of good faith. But, the idea of the song actually being played is what we tried to discuss yesterday. I mean, they say the judges have no control over whether the song is going to be played, but it should never be played, Dr. Abati. I mean, especially in places like the National Assembly or even at a judicial confab like we had yesterday. Really,
you are absolutely correct, and I'll be very quick.
Yes.
The Brigade of Guards. The job of the Brigade of Guards is to protect the president and protect the Federal Capital Territory. Their job is not to go into partisan politics.
Yes.
I know every president comes along and has his own favorite tune that the Brigade of Guards plays ceremonially.
Yes.
Like Obasanjo, President Obasanjo had Kabo, Kabo.
I think that's nice.
Omabile Soro, Kile Lanu.
That's a greeting.
Yeah, so that was non-partisan.
Yes.
The tune that President Jonathan used was also non-partisan. So this on your mandate we shall start is very partisan. So the Brigade of Guards, whoever is leading that Brigade of Guards, should learn a lesson from this.
Yes.
That he must not drive the Brigade of Guards into politics.
Yes, this is it.
And they must be so advice.
Well said.
The military should not get involved in partisan politics.
Well said, Dr. Abazi. Well said. I hope that's all clarified. Now, under milestones, we celebrate former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, who marks his 68th birthday today, November 20th. The Bayelsa-born statesman remains one of Nigeria's most consequential democratic leaders, a man whose single act of courage in 2015 redefined presidential accountability in Africa. Well, Jonathan served as Nigeria's president from 2010 to 2015. He remains a significant figure in the nation's political history, having risen from deputy governor of Bayelsa State to vice president and ultimately president following Umaru Yar'Adua's death in 2010. Jonathan's rise embodied the Nigerian dream, proof that leadership could emerge from the most unlikely places. Before March 28, 2015, no sitting Nigerian president had ever lost re-election and voluntarily handed over power. Jonathan shattered that precedent when he conceded defeat to General Muhammadu Buhari even before final results were officially announced, a phone call that stunned the nation and earned global applause. That singular act of statesmanship prevented potential bloodshed and cemented Nigeria's reputation as Africa's largest democracy. During his tenure, Jonathan focused on infrastructural development, educational reforms, and agricultural transformation. Goodluck Jonathan showed the world that democracy works when leaders choose principle over power, peace over violence, and country over personal ambition. As Nigeria grapples with democratic challenges, Jonathan's legacy reminds us that true leadership is measured not by how long you cling on to power, but how gracefully you surrender it to honor the people's will. Happy 68th birthday to the man who chose country over crown. I wish we had time. Happy birthday. I thought that I wanted to, eulogize your boss, because I do deeply respect him. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Oh, I'm there tonight. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.